want to start with what ifs today. What if nothing is technically wrong? Your health is okay, your family's okay, your career may be even okay, but somehow you just don't quite feel like yourself anymore. Maybe routines that once came naturally suddenly feel harder. Maybe you're tired of feeling like you have to start over. Or perhaps you've been wondering if it's motivation you're missing or if something deeper has changed. If any of this sounds familiar, today's conversation is for you. And wait till you meet our guest. She's amazing and will offer so many great solutions. But first, we have to take a little break. But not to worry, though, we'll be back in a flash, a hot flash. And lovies, before we jump into today's episode, I want to remind you to visit the Ageless Glamour Girls Boutique. From statement tees and chic bags to mugs and gifts, designed especially for women 50 plus. There's something waiting just for you. Visit agelessglamourgirlsboutique.com. Thanks. Welcome back. I'm Marquita Curtis-Haynes. I am the CEO and founder of the lifestyle brand Ageless Glamour Girls, where we empower and embrace women 50 plus on our ageless aging journey. Thank you so much for being here. Now, today's guest has spent more than 35 years helping women rebuild their strength, confidence, and momentum during one of life's most transformative seasons. But here's what caught my attention. She believes many midlife women aren't lacking motivation at all. Instead, they're navigating a season where what once worked no longer fits. Now, whether it's your fitness routine, your energy, your confidence, or simply the feeling that you're somehow lost a little bit of yourself, today's conversation is about understanding those changes and discovering that maybe you don't need to start over. You just need a different approach. Joining us today is Heike Yates. She's a midlife fitness and mindset expert, author of the award-winning book and brand, Pursue Your Spark, a podcast host and coach who has helped thousands of women move forward with realistic strategies that fit real life. Heike, welcome to the Ageless Glamour Girls Podcast.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm here to spread all the goodness of spark and glamour with you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Now, I'm going to start this in a different way. And I know you're all about fitness, and we're definitely going to get to that. But I want to start with the woman behind the work, behind that show, behind all of that. Your story is fascinating. What motivated you to do what you're doing right now?
It was definitely not motivation.
Mhm.
It was more curiosity. And I always feel like the more curious we get in our lives, the more we can change what we're doing because momentum only takes us so far.
Uh,
And when I see that, I always look at it from my point of view, from my experience. I feel that every 10 years, women change, not significantly, not in a big way, but there are some changes that we experience in our 30s, 40s, and perimenopause, and you hit menopause, you thinking maybe empty nesting, you're thinking career changes, you're thinking maybe the sandwich generation where we now have
Mhm.
grandkids, but also aging parents, which is what I'm finding myself in right now as well. And you need something different because life demands different things from you. And so when I looked around, and as you've read my bio, I'm a former bodybuilder. I'm an
Mhm.
Ironman triathlete. I'm an ultra marathon runner. And I also, now I'm 65, I'm piping down a little bit to what works better for me than what I've done in the past is pushing harder, pushing harder. It's got to work out. But I saw that most of us were suffering with this approach. And it literally backfired with some of us gaining weight back, some of us feeling exhausted, others are not sleeping at all or very little. We're stressed out,
Mhm.
cortisol levels are rising,
Mhm.
and we're just not happy where we are. And we
Mhm.
thought, oh, great, now I'm maybe an empty nester. I should be happy.
Right.
and you're not. Something is off. And that's
Hmm.
what triggered my direction, that I said, you know what? I see this and I see this pattern. Let's do something different.
I love that. Yeah, and you hit it right on the nail. It's like everybody is busy. Everybody, even if you have kids or not. And I know that you're really big, your brand is about empty nesting. And unfortunately, I never experienced that. But I feel like, but still, even if you don't have kids, at this point in this season, it's like, hmm, what's missing? Why don't I feel like myself? And so yeah, and that's where you come in with your brand. I
Mhm.
love that. Um, so getting back to my original question, let me go back there for a second. So you went through your own season, right? Where you were
Yep.
feeling that. And then you said, okay, let's talk about that.
Because
That
you know what?
Mhm,
Because you know what? I'm the expert. And I just said this the other day. I have now, by now that we're talking today, 40 years of experience in the fitness industry. So I've
mhm,
seen all the different facets. I worked with so many people. And when I just talked to somebody recently, I said, and she's going to turn 60. And
mhm,
she says, oh my God, you're in such great shape. And I want to do this and this and this. And I said, but now you have time. Her mom had passed away, who lived with her for 2 years. And she says, I
mhm,
have suddenly time to take care of myself
mhm,
and not of anybody else, no kids, no grand. I have nobody. And it's my time now. And she said, I'm going to check out your brand because I know sort of what to do, but not really. Where do I actually start?
mhm,
And I told her, I said, it's really easy for me. I have a studio, I have all the experience, and I happen to be just a person who is like, I'm just going to get the job done, which most women struggle with. That's why our momentum has always been, oh, I need more momentum. But it doesn't work. And I said, I have the luxury of knowing what to do.
mhm,
Most women don't have that luxury, or
mm.
the it's like, oh, now I need to change to go to the gym. Oh, should I do Pilates or strength training today? Oh, maybe I should do more stretching. I don't know. Let me just do nothing before I do something wrong.
Exactly. Exactly. And I love it. And that's where you come in. You're like, it's like pick something, do something. And you've done it all. I was really captivated by your story, how you failed your first fitness instructor audition because you're deaf in one ear and you couldn't hear the
Yes.
beat of the music. Uh, Tell us about that. And you had two young kids. Tell us about that. That story is amazing
So that was
about resilience. Mhm,
unbeknownst to me, because as long as I remember, I only could hear on one ear. The other
mhm,
ear just heard for the other one with it. So it was just the one ear, and there was no problem
mhm,
that I could pinpoint that it was a handicap in one way or another. And when I started taking classes at the YMCA, where I my fitness career started, doing dancercise. And if you're old enough, you know what dancercise is.
mhm.
It used to be, now it's more jazzercise, or Zumba is more along those lines.
I
So
was in there with Jane Fonda back in the day.
so much fun, so much great music and
Right.
movement.
Mhm,
And they needed, so I started out there, and I never thought that I would actually like doing this. And I said, I'm not hopping around in front of other people. This is weird. Um, but then they needed teachers. And they said, you move really well in class. Do you want to be trained as a teacher? And at first I said, no. And my first husband said, oh, this be great. It gets you out of the house. They have childcare, so you can drop off our son at this
mhm,
point.
mhm,
And I was like, oh, I don't know. And he says, no, basically he was saying, you need to get out of the house, woman, and do something.
mhm,
And so I started the teacher training program, and I was like, I nail it. I do the music, and I learned the choreography. So it would fit to each song, had its own little choreography. And
mhm,
I practiced in the class, and it's went well. So when I went to try out to be sanctioned as a teacher,
Mhm.
I started out, I was super confident. And back in the
Mhm.
day, you would also teach facing the group,
Mhm.
which so you had to learn all the stuff backwards.
Mhm.
And that was a
Wow.
challenge in
Oh,
itself.
man. Oh my gosh.
So none of this facing in the mirror and just kind of talking over your shoulder. And so
Right.
as I started doing this, and after she didn't even make me go through the first song, she's like, stop, stop, stop. You're off. You're completely off. And I
Oh,
was like,
no.
what am I completely off of? I'm doing the moves and I'm doing the thing and I hear the music. And she's like, you're not on the beat.
Oh.
And I said, what is a beat? I have no music training.
Right,
I
right,
don't
right.
know. I mean, I love dancing.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, if I can dance, I gotta be on the beat, whatever that
Hello.
thing is.
Hello.
And she tried again. She said, do it again. And I still didn't get it. And she's like, okay, here's put your hand on the speaker so you can feel the bass, basically, which was the beat.
Wow.
And so I could feel the dunce, 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 whatever, count
Uh-huh,
of eight. And then I learned that there's a count of eight, which was the phrases for the choreography as well.
uh-huh.
Grapevine, eight counts to the right. Step, touch, step, touch. Another eight counts. And then once I felt that, I was like, oh, I understand what you mean by being on the beat. I was teaching to the melody.
Mm, mm. Okay.
And that coincided sometimes with the beat, but not
Mhm.
always.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so she said, okay, now you go home, you practice all your songs, feel the beat, and then come back in a month and let me know show me how it goes. And I practiced relentlessly. I was like, I want to nail this. This silly ear can't just hold me back.
That's right.
And
Determination. Determination. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yep. And I showed up and I nailed it. And it, so I started teaching, but every time we got, which was every 6 weeks, we got
Mhm.
new choreography
Mhm.
with new songs. For a long time, I sat there and just felt the beat. And then, had the boombox in my arm so I could feel the beat and I could do
Right.
my grapevine, cha cha cha, whatever it was. And to the day, I'm really looking for the beat. And when I take a class and the
Mm.
teacher's off beat, Marketa, it drives me
I
bananas.
exactly, because now you know the deal. You know it. It's like,
I
right,
know the
right,
beat.
right.
But but it was a eye-opening experience because it was not something that I would expect would affect me. That
Mhm.
yes, I'm hearing fine, but that little distinction between the beat, hearing, feeling it, and reproducing it in the choreography
Mhm.
it was a humbling experience.
Wow, but you came back and then you did your thing. You came back. What does that teach you about resilience?
Yep. Yep, resilience, perseverance, and not giving up right away when things don't work out that way. Keep experimenting, looking at things that may be similar, or talk to other people, or try it a different way. My one swimming coach always says, I was like, I can't get the stroke. He would always say, try something different. And I said, well, what? And he says, I don't know. Just make it different. See what happens when you make it different.
Mm, mm. I like that. Yeah, just keep on keeping on. It's like keep it
Yeah.
moving.
But don't keep grinding into the same thing that
Mhm.
hasn't quite worked out. And I think many women get stuck with this. We experience things that we've done in the past and it
Mhm.
has worked in the past. It has to work now
Mm,
that I'm 20 years older,
mm.
or
That's
have
right.
gone through childbirth or whatever, going through menopause. It has to work because it used to work. And that's when we need to stop grinding ourselves to the ground with outdated beliefs about what works now.
And how do you find that?
That
You
believe that belief or
Yeah, the belief. How do you go back in? Because yeah, sometimes stuff just doesn't work anymore like it used to work.
Mhm.
What do you grab onto? What do you
Try
tell
something
yourself? And I know you just hit on some of that.
try something different. Do something you've never thought you would do. If you've never, like, if you were a hardcore high intensity interval training person and
Mhm.
this just backfires where you feel wiped out, where you feel tired, where you don't have get the energy back from the workout and don't see the results from the workout,
Mhm.
maybe try Pilates, maybe try yoga, maybe just try a sculpting class. Find something different and get away from that notion that this has to work and like I said, beat it to the ground. Try something new because your
Mm.
body is changing. So your needs for what your body needs also changes.
That makes, yeah, you have to adjust, just keep it moving. You have to adjust. And I saw something on your website. It says women aren't lacking motivation. They're navigating a season where what once worked no longer fits. And we just talked about that. But I love that's where I got that from. It was on your website. I'm just curious, when you have women when women what are women telling you behind closed doors that they may not even be sharing with their families? Do they talk about any fears of, oh my gosh, this is changing. I don't know what to do. I'm not feeling this getting older business. What are some of the things you're hearing?
I could be facetious and say that's client trainer privilege, but
Of course, that's what I thought. Yeah, yeah.
no, it's oftentimes we start exercising or we're in the class in my
Mhm,
blueprint program and
mhm,
they act unsure. They ask me a lot of questions that are just kind of, oh, am I doing this right? Am I breathing correctly? Well, it doesn't feel the way you describe it. They question themselves a lot.
mm,
And I think it's a great transition from that
mhm,
being stuck feeling with old habits to something new. If you question yourself, you're curious about things. And then it usually comes to the conversation that when they say, oh, I'm doing everything right. And it just, I don't know. I don't feel like it used to anymore. It's the exercise. It's really, really hard, but I should be doing it right
mhm.
because harder is better. Isn't that what we used to say? Like I said, yeah, maybe in the Jane Fonda days.
Right, exactly, exactly. Right,
But
right.
they start questioning themselves with like, am I doing it, whatever it is? It could be weight training, whatever we do, or even nutrition. Am I doing this right?
Mhm,
And this is a great segue into transitioning. And they
mhm.
tell me a whole bunch of other things that nobody ever hears but me. But
Of course.
Um, but that's that when you're really close and connected with your people, and you know that, Marketa, that this is just it just is they trust us. They know we want the best thing for them.
Mhm,
And they tell us the things that they don't tell other people. And they feel safe with that. And when they feel safe and
mhm,
they question themselves, they
mhm,
know I will not try to put him on another quick fix diet or another, oh yeah, let's do that 6 week workout. And you will see the results that you're hoping for. But a
mhm,
real honest answer about what to expect in this time of life.
mm, mm.
And everybody's different. And we are so inundated with social media stuff that
That's so
w-
true.
that we compare ourselves to these other women. And guys, there are women out there that just like beyond human possible. You're thinking, oh my God, look at her. She's my age and she has that body and she has that hair
Ah,
and she whatever.
yes,
But
yes.
you are not that person.
I'm not that person.
And you cannot expect those results. And also, what I think a lot of times what's misleading on social is the work that goes in it. When you see a woman, and there's a couple of women out there that I follow on Instagram that are in their 80s and they're still
Mhm.
bodybuilding. And
Yes.
they have rocking bodies.
Uh,
But when you think about this, they also may have good genes. They may have lived it their entire life. This is all they do. And when I
right.
look back, the work that goes in it, with that, the isolation because of a strict training schedule, a strict eating schedule, your social life goes really by the wayside because all you do is achieve that look and that body. It's not a life.
That right. That is so true. That is so true. And getting back to what you said, about social media. Yeah, we don't see a lot of what goes on. behind the scenes, and we don't take into consideration the genes and all this. Because I used to get caught up in that. I would see someone my age or even older, 5, 10 years old, and they're like, oh, this is what such and such looks like. And they look great and they're lifting weights, and you cannot get caught up. You just have to bring your best self,
It's a
forward.
it's a great inspiration where you say, wow, look what she achieved. And right now, everybody's doing pull-ups, at least on my feed. Everybody in my age group
I
and younger,
wish.
they're all doing pull-ups.
Oh my gosh.
When I was a bodybuilder, I was my fittest for that kind of life where I had big, rather large muscle, not huge, but large muscles. I had no cardiovascular fitness because all I did was lift. But
Hmm.
when I look at what it takes to get to that point, the sacrifices that you make, it's just not worth it to me anymore. The
Hmm.
most I could do at this fittest, strongest level I've ever been, 3 pull-ups. And that was after 3 years of training. And when I see these girls whooping out those pull-ups, I'm like, ha ha ha. I know what I can do. And right now I can't even do one. And I'm like, okay, fine. I can do other things.
Right, and it looks so effortlessly, right? And
They'll go boom, boom, boom. I was like,
right,
ah, this
right,
takes a lot of work, like every day, all day to do this. And then you may be still, your body would say, girl, you got short arms. This is not going to work.
right,
Or you got a large chest. You're going to be working forever.
right.
So it comes into play with this. And I was like, oh, more power to you. And I looked at it and I said, I'm going to do something different.
Exactly. But the bottom line is to keep it moving. Keep it moving. You
Keep
got
it,
to do something.
get the inspiration is great. And if you lack upper body strength, which a lot of women do,
Oh
this
yeah,
could be
here.
your key to say, oh, I need to pick up weights. I need to pick up bands and or do body weight
Mhm,
exercises. Because,
mhm.
oh, wow, I may never do a pull-up, but I know that I have a hard time carrying my groceries. And I always ask my husband to do it for me. That could be a good motivator.
You know what? That is so true. We're hearing a lot more about strength training, as you get older, lifting weights. How crucial is that? And if you had to tell a client or someone, if you're speaking somewhere, the one thing that we should start doing immediately to
Is
rebuild. What is that?
go to go to the wall and start doing a push-up on the wall and see how you do. Can you go stand on the wall with an arm length away and then bend and straighten your arms? Can you do that? You are, and I am not kidding you, you are ahead of the curve of a lot of women our ages. Because a
Wow.
push-up on the wall is
Uh,
is not as challenging, but it is for so many. And I see it. And push-ups, nobody wants to do push-ups. And they all think we do military push-ups, on the floor with the legs straight and the knees off. And
Not
forget all
happening
that.
here. No.
Forget all that.
Right.
But but it's a good measure. Can I do this against the wall 15 times? Or do I feel my arms are already noodles? Then you need to pick up some weights or bands or do more of those wall push-ups uh, to build up strength. And
Mhm.
that's an easy way. Or, I love one of the things I've done reels on is kitchen counter push-ups.
I was
They
just
have
about to talk about that. Yes, ask you about that. Yes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I got excited because that's what I do. Go ahead.
And it's even easier because you're in the kitchen, you're cooking, you're waiting for your tea to boil or your coffee to be ready, and
Mhm.
you just take your kitchen counter and you literally put your hands underneath your shoulders and you bend and straighten your arms. And the further you go away from the kitchen counter, the harder the exercise will be. So if you go in the kitchen like 20 times a day and you do maybe, so you say, oh, I can only do three. Well, every time you do three times 20, suddenly you have a whole lot of push ups and it ends up really strengthening your body in a way that doesn't feel like it's exercise.
So true. That is, yeah, because I just recently started that and I'm seeing a difference. My sister and I were talking about that. It's like, our kitchens are the new at home gyms, and even,
You,
yeah.
yes, you can do tricep push ups. Go find my reel, you guys. It's on Heike Yates on Instagram. It's somewhere in my reels in there
Uh-huh.
where I do a push up and then I do a tricep dip or push up with on the kitchen counter. It makes a huge difference. And it's not intimidating either. I think, Marquita, it's you don't need to buy equipment. You don't need to go to a gym. You don't even need to get to the floor, which some of us have a hard time getting on and off the floor.
Here. But
And
yeah,
so you're less likely to do this because you're like, nah, I don't do this, or I have to change. Like you whoop out a couple of those push-ups and tricep presses, and you at least do something. And
that's right.
something
Mhm.
adds up to more in the end.
That is so true. Because even when I first started doing them, I mean, you start feeling them,
Yep.
with those push-ups. It's so
Yep.
true. And then when my mother was going through her thing, my late mother, I noticed, with the physical therapist, it was the kitchen sink, with the squats. And so that's another thing you see. If you can't do them on your own, hold on to that counter and just, do your thing.
Yep. And it's sometimes the simplest things we don't think about, number one. And number two, we are made to believe that they're not as effective.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to have a gym membership. Now you have to have a squat rack. Oh no, you need to have dumbbells, those weights you hold with your hands. It's not true. It's not true. You need a chair, a kitchen counter, and a kitchen sink.
That's true. There you go. There you go. That's a great way to start or to maintain or whatever,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I want to move over to your award winning book. I love the title, Pursue Your Spark.
Pursue Your Spark is my brand name, which also the name of my podcast called Pursue Your Spark. So my brand is Heike Yates by Pursue Your Spark.
Mhm.
And initially, I still have a brick and mortar studio here in Maryland where I see clients one on one, either in person or virtually. I wanted to create a brand that was just for women.
Mhm.
And my first brand was called the Menopause Game Plan. So that was the first name.
Okay.
I said, okay, I'm in menopause. Women can resonate with this. And all my coaches and all the people around me were like, yeah, this is great. We're rooting for you. And so the more I dove into the menopause game plan, the more I realized that, yes, I can help women with nutrition and fitness and strategies to feel better. But when I really encountered women that were hugely suffering from extreme hot flashes, from not sleeping at all, from depression, I felt I was not in the right place. I felt that I wasn't helping them enough. So I said, all right, let's change this. And then a woman I was working with, we were just playing around and we were starting out. You know what do women do our ages a lot is we dim our light.
Mm.
We let other people shine, but we're dimming our light.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we're like, pursue your spark. It's not ignite your spark, but pursue your spark. Whatever the spark is where you will go. It could go for anything in your life. So there was no limitation or no restriction, just to fitness aspects. I want to pursue my spark because I want a new career. I want to pursue my spark. I want a different haircut, which I never dared to have. So anything goes with the spark. And of course, for my brand, it is mostly about the mindset strategies that women in midlife working on, and it is all supported by fitness and nutrition strategies to support that whole process. So that was my brand, and that
Mhm.
was the Pursue Your Spark. Like, this is the podcast name. And then it came to the book. Never written a book ever, but you got to think highly of yourself, I
That's
think.
right. That's right.
And so how do I put this into a book? And I found an editor after long searches, and I handed in my 400 pages, and they came back with 100 pages, and they said, okay, now start writing your book. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? You took everything out because what I had initially was all about fitness and nutrition, and this is not what I wanted to do. And here is why. One day, this is how the book came to be, actually to be,
Uh-huh.
is one of my clients who's now 81.
Mhm.
I published my book last year, so about a year before that, so 2 years ago. She is coming to me in person. She has scoliosis and all kinds of other ailments, but she is working with me once a week, and she's told me stories about her husband getting much sicker, and he's completely dependent on her, and she barely can leave the house without her saying, "Where are you going? When are you coming back? uh,
Mhm.
I don't have any food. How do I get out of my chair?" And she felt so tethered to the house. She was so frustrated. She says, it's awful. I love him, but I this caregiving is for the birds.
Mm, mm,
Her daughter said, "Mom, why don't you come and visit me for a weekend? Another family member will take care of dad, and you just come up so you don't have to worry at all about him. Somebody will be with him 24 hours a day."
mhm,
So she did. So she went to visit her daughter, spend the weekend there, and then she comes back for her next session. She walks in the studio, tall. She is beaming. And
mhm.
I was like, "What kind of weekend did you have?" And she says, "Heike, it was the best weekend. We hung out, mother daughter time. We went shopping. We went out for dinner. I just sat there reading my book, had some coffee. I didn't have to tend and rush and go and do anything." She says, "Heike, I felt like myself again."
Mm,
And I looked at her and I said, "What do you mean by that?" Because my understanding until then was that when women say, "I want to feel like myself again," that they want to feel like their younger self. And she says, "No, I want to feel like myself now. I want
mm,
to do the things I want to do now. I want to explore the things I want to explore now. Go to the classes I want to go singing in my choir. I want to feel myself like I am now."
mm.
And Pursue Your Spark, the book was born.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. And what a great framework, too.
Yeah.
And you're right, it can apply, across so many boards, just across the board,
Yeah.
with different items in your life. And yeah, I
And
think,
when I think about it, pursue your spark is to confidently pursue your spark, overcome the traps and gaps that are holding you stuck in your life, like perfectionism or not setting boundaries, are addressed in the book. But then you also to live fully. And that's what's really important to me, that women embrace to live fully the life they're creating now, whether you're
mm,
30, 40, 50, 60, or well, however you old you are. That's why, to me, also, the book is about for midlife women. To me, midlife goes from 40 to 80, because she was 80, I guess.
mhm, mhm,
Embracing all this new that's coming your way during that time.
mhm, mhm. Has your definition of aging changed over the 20 years, over, the last 20 years? And I'm sure it has. And how has it changed your idea?
Women are much more capable than they used to be. We
Mm,
are more educated.
mhm,
We know more.
mhm.
We see more. We've tried more things.
Right.
We are willing to take more risks. We're willing to look forward to what's next for the most part, even though we have guilt and fear and all kinds of problems that riddle us along the way. But we're more willing to take risks and say, "You know what? I'm proud of what I'm doing. I'm proud of who I am or who I am becoming now as I age,"
Ooh.
which I don't think when I was younger that women were that confident or confidently trying to change what's going on in their lives and willing to take those risks.
Mm, that is so true. I love it. Hear us roar. Hear us roar.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. We're not
confidence.
as afraid anymore, of the repercussions. It's
Right.
okay to say, "Well, I do not want this relationship. I want a divorce." Whereas women in the past have always said, "Oh my God, I have no job, I have no income, I gotta stick with the husband forever, even if I don't want him anymore." And now we have the freedom to choose our destination. And like I said, there's obstacles and roadblocks in the way where we go, "Oh my God, can I really do this?" Sometimes you may say, "Not right now," but maybe down the road you're ready to do it.
Right.
It all takes time, and it's not instant. I'm going to go and do whatever XYZ. Sometimes it takes a while to just sort out your thoughts, really get clear on what it is that you really want, or you may be just enticed by somebody's actions and then realize that they're not for you, they're for this person, but that's not your jam. So you're like, okay, explode it, but I didn't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I made smart choices.
Mm, smart choices. I love that. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Heike. Now, is there anything else you want to add that we didn't cover?
Oh my God, guys, don't dim your light ever. You are so worth it. You are the glamour girl and that you see inside yourself. Make it happen. Just go for it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Your plan may change. You find another thing that you like better, but it's about the exploration and the curiosity that you bring to your life.
Woo. Thank you so much. So much powerful stuff. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Heike.
It's my pleasure, absolutely. And thank you for all the listeners that joined us today.
Yes, yes, and I'm going to put your information, all of your social media and all of that in the podcast description. So, if women or anybody else who want to learn more about your award-winning book and your brand, pursue your spark. I love it. Your podcast, your coaching programs, your free resources, all of that will be included. Again, thank you so much, and we'll reconnect soon.
Thank you.
Heike is amazing, delightful, smart, and so encouraging, right? Motivational. I love it. And again, the name of her brand and her book and everything is Pursue Your Spark. And she has the podcast and the coaching programs and all of that. And remember, lovies, midlife isn't about becoming someone new. Sometimes it's simply about finding your way back to yourself. Pursue your spark. You have it. It's right here. It's right there. Do it. I look forward to seeing your journey. If you want to come and talk about pursuing your spark and how you got there, come to the show. Drop us a line at info@agelessglamourgirls.com. Info@agelessglamourgirls.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on our YouTube channel, Ageless Glamour Girls. And we have a private Facebook group, the Ageless Cafe. And we're all over social media. And we also have a boutique, the Ageless Glamour Girls Boutique. So come on down. We love to, share more information with you on this ageless aging journey. And if you want to be a guest on the show or have something to share, drop us a line again at info@agelessglamourgirls.com. So until next time, cheers to healthy aging and joyful living, lovies, and we'll reconnect again soon. Bye-bye for now.